Good morning, everyone. Well, thank you for the reply. I appreciate that. Welcome to the 2019 Travelers Championship. We look forward to this day for a long, long time. Thank you for coming out here to celebrate opening ceremonies with us. We are going to start off with a very traditional thing that we do with opening ceremonies, but I was thinking about it this morning, about the color guard coming in, about playing the national anthem, and as we do this, why do we do this? Well, we do this because we want to remind ourselves, we want to remind everyone here that to be able to do what we're doing with a professional sporting event, to be able to come together as a community and celebrate, to be able to do what's about to happen this week, we couldn't do any of that without our armed services doing what they do. Them providing a safety for us, a confidence that we are able to do something like this and celebrate and feel confident and free and secure while we're doing this is because of the foundation that they have laid. So we purposely start off this ceremony with that. So I would like to ask the Silver Dolphins from Naval Sub Base in New London, the color guard, please present the colors. Thank you, U.S. Coast Guard Academy Band. Color guard, please retire the colors.
Retire the colors, aye, sir. Carry. Colors. Ready, cut. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you again, Silver Dolphins. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say a few words before we kick things off. I want to recognize a few people who won't be speaking this morning, but without their work, without their commitment to the event, it wouldn't be here. Representative Carpino, Larry McHugh, Mayor, thank you, Lieutenant Commander. We really appreciate the support of the community to take on an event this size to be able to pull it off. Thank you. I'd like to also acknowledge Dan Kleiman, the chairman of the board of the Greater Hartford Community Foundation. We have several board members in the audience, and this board is responsible for overseeing the Travelers Championship. And you don't hear from them that much because they're behind the scenes and they're working hard to make sure Connecticut's PGA Tour event is a premier event. So Dan, thank you for being here this morning. I do want to say thank you to a few sponsors as we start this off, because they have come along with us on this journey that we started back in 2007 to take an event that's been here for decades, look at the future and say, where do we want to be 10, 20 years from now? And there were some of our partners who said, we want to come along on that journey. We want to be part of that vision. And it was a significant multi-year investment for these partners to partner with us. And I have to say, I want to Trinity Health of New England. I know Dr. Edie is here, and the 30 years of commitment from Trinity in some form or fashion with the tournament. We're celebrating those 30 years this year as one of our presenting sponsors, and they have so many memories, and we couldn't thank them enough for that commitment. And also Stanley Black & Decker coming on as a 7-year partner to be at the presenting sponsor level. Again, we would not be here without those presenting sponsors and our founding partners. We have, again, people who have come alongside of us, bought into the vision of what we're doing: Accenture and Aetna, Bears Barbecue, Cognizant, Connecticut, the state of Connecticut, Dell, EBM, EMAX, Hartford Healthcare, LTI, the Metro Hartford Alliance, Mohegan Sun, Purina, Webster, and WNS. These are companies that know what this event means to the community, and they are all in. And so without them, we wouldn't be here. So round of applause, please, for those partners. I get to introduce Alan Snitzer now, the chairman and CEO of Travelers, and I want to say a couple words about this because we get asked often when we're out on tour by players that come into town. We notice that the tournament is different. It feels different. What do you do? How do you educate your volunteers to buy into what you're doing? Why does the staff care? Why does everyone involved in this? Why is it different? And it's different because from the top down, it is different. I think there's decisions that you can make in business that are good for your business, that make sound business sense, and there's decisions you can make as a chairman and CEO that are just the right thing to do, good for the community, giving back because you know what, it's the right thing to do. And what Alan believes that we all feel is that this event is both of those. It's good for business and it's good for the community. And when you can combine that feeling that the CEO lets us know that's how this company feels about it, it is contagious and everybody buys in. So we wouldn't have what makes us different without buy-in from the chairman and CEO. So ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alan Snitzer.
First, to the men and women in uniform and to everybody who served, thank you all for your service. We appreciate it, and as Nathan said, we wouldn't be here without you. Nathan, thank you. Thank you for that, Nathan. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right. On behalf of all of us at Travelers, we are thrilled to welcome you to the 2019 Travelers Championship. We're very pleased to have one of our strongest fields ever, so we're in for some great golf, and hopefully we're in for another Travelers dramatic finish. You've all heard us say this many times before, but the vision for this tournament has been and is and will continue to be hometown company sponsoring a hometown event for the benefit of hometown causes and the hometown economy. And we've got some great talent on the golf course, and they'll be here all week, but it takes an amazing world-class group of people and talent to bring that vision to life every year, and I just want to recognize the people that do that. First, to my colleagues, Andy Bissett and Jennifer Wislocki, thank you very much. And to the very best tournament team in professional golf, Nathan Grube, Tara Gerber, and Kevin Harrington, thank you all very much. Now, I assure you the 5 of them would never take credit for it because that's just who they are. They're so modest, but I can also assure you that the 5 of them deserve credit for the fact that for 2 years running, this tournament has won the Players' Choice Award. So to the 5 of you, congratulations and thank you. Travelers is the title sponsor, but as you heard Nathan say, we are by no means the only sponsor, and we couldn't do this without all of the sponsors. So I want to say to the sponsors and to the PGA Tour a very sincere and heartfelt thanks. We couldn't do it without you. This tournament and the vision of this tournament really reflects who we are as a company. We are literally in the business of taking care of the communities that we're privileged to serve. And it's gratifying for us to see so many others side by side with us doing that work. Last year at this time, we were proud to announce that we had raised $1.8 million, and we did that last year at the closing ceremony, Bob. But then after the ceremony ended, after the media packed up, after the fans were leaving, our three-time champion and our defending champion, Bubba Watson, very quietly made his way over to Andy Bissett and to me, and Bubba walked up, shook our hands, and said, "Congratulations on raising $1.8 million. It's terrific. Why don't we make it an even $2 million? I'm in for $200,000." And that was really incredible. Now that's extraordinary, and that's the spirit of this tournament. And over the course of the next week, we're going to see thousands of people out here giving their time and their energy and their resources, not just for this game that we all love, not just for this tournament we all love, but for this community that we all love. Since Travelers became the title sponsor in 2007, we've raised around $17 million for hundreds of local causes, and we can all be proud of the fact that every year this tournament generates about $70 million of economic activity for the state of Connecticut. None of this, of course, would happen without our volunteers. It takes about 3,500 of them to make that happen, and we'll see them out on the course over the next week or so. So a very, very special thank you to all of our volunteers. Couldn't do it without you. In that spirit of giving back, again this year, our primary beneficiary will be the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp. You'll hear more about that from Andy Bissett in just a minute. But for now, I'll just say that we're privileged to do all our small part for that incredible camp and the life-changing work they do for the kids that are there. The camp does amazing work, and I just want to acknowledge the camp's CEO, Jimmy Canton. Jimmy, welcome. Nice to have you here. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our honorary chair this year and our 89th governor. I first met Governor Lamont some years back when he and I were working together to improve education for students in the state of Connecticut, and I know that's a passion of the governor's. But during the campaign and since the election, I've come to know him even better, and I've really been struck, Governor, by your commitment to being there for the people of Connecticut, not just figuratively as governor, but literally present and accessible. And the governor's presence here today is a reflection of that. I can't think of anybody better to help us kick off this event. Please welcome Governor Ned Lamont.
Well, thank you, Alan, and hello, golf lovers everywhere. I think, like some of you, I was watching a little golf last night. It's a good warm-up tournament they have, which is a practice tournament before the great Travelers Championship, which is kicking off. And I am so proud to be here. Look, as Alan said, Travelers and all the sponsors, thank you for what you do for the state of Connecticut. And golf, thank you for your contribution. And to the 3,500 volunteers, some are up here, thank you for what you guys are up to. And to the bands and everything, what this means to the state of Connecticut is so important. And I just want to say, when the players come and their families come, we welcome you to the state of Connecticut. You know, while the players are maybe out here practicing and the such, I tell those families, come, go to the Bushnell, go to the New Britain Museum of American Art. I can say, look, we have parks that are within 15 miles of every single one of our towns. Come take a nice walk through one of our parks with your kids. You're welcome. And if it's closer to happy hour, maybe you want to go on one of the brew walks or one of the winery tours. But we want to welcome each and every one of these guests who are coming to the state of Connecticut. But I really wanted to say thank you to Travelers. Thank you for the championship, what this means for the state of Connecticut. And look, golf is an amazing sport. You can be incredibly mediocre at it and love it every day. Thanks, everybody.
I think we can all relate to that. It is my pleasure now to introduce Andy Bissett. He's going to come up and say a few words. And again, this will be my 13th, 14th year working with Andy on this project of the Travelers Championship. And I have to say that so much of what we have seen, whether it be the new clubhouse, the course renovations, I mean, he pushes us, he pushes the tour, he challenges everyone to push hard. And again, the motivating factor behind that is what I think is special about Andy. We've talked about this, that he feels like this is our time to be stewards of this event. This event was here before us, this event will be here after us, but in this window, where Travelers is a steward of this event, where it is the title sponsor, he feels a massive responsibility to this community. And we talk about this. We owe it to this community to make this event better every year, because this is our time to be able to do that. And he has that passion every single day, and that is why we are here, and that is why we continue to grow, because we owe it to everybody here to make this better every year. And I will say, the Executive Vice President, Chief Administrative Officer of Travelers, Mr. Andy Bissett.
Nathan, thank you. And as Alan said, thank you to your entire team, because what we do here is really special every year for a lot of different reasons. But we're really proud of our partnership with the PGA Tour and our title sponsorship of the Travelers Championship. And this is an event we've been involved with since the very, very beginning in 1952. There's not a lot of things I can say that are older than I am. That's really cool. That's really good. So I think that as Nathan was alluding to, the comment that we've used for 14 years before we took this over is that the status quo is unacceptable. We work at this diligently throughout the year. We never accept what you see this year is not going to be what you see next year. I don't know how it's going to be different, but trust me, it's going to be different. And you can see from last year to this year, this new clubhouse emerged, which is really terrific. And it's going to continue to get better and better every year. The players, you know, we couldn't do any of this without the players and the player field that we've assembled. It's really a terrific field. You know, a lot of us were watching last night. Brooks Koepka played a great round and had a great 4 days. All of his rounds were in the 60s. And to have him coming, he's a current defending champion of the 2019 PGA Championship and the #1 ranked golfer in the world. So to have the #1 ranked golfer in the world and the reigning champion of the PGA Championship is terrific. So we're going to welcome Brooks with open arms. We have Justin Thomas. We have Francisco Molinari, who is the defending 2018 Open Championship. We've got Bryson DeChambeau, we've got Paul Casey, Jason Day, Tony Finau, Louis Oosthuizen, who we watched, who was in the running last night as well. And of course, our 3-time champion, Bubba Watson, who's done so much for us over these 13 years. Patrick Reed, Patrick Cantley, Tommy Fleetwood, everybody loves his long hair. Our 2012 champion, Mark Leishman, and Phil Mickelson to top off the field. And I got to tell you a quick story. Phil is so excited to be coming back. I saw him in the locker room in Charlotte at the Wells Fargo, and he knows that the people of Connecticut love him, and I just reinforced that. And he's excited to be here. He's so looking forward to it. I can't even tell you how excited he is. So we're looking forward to have Phil back as well. But in our field, we have 5 of the top 10 in the world. 5 of the top 10. 16 of the top 30 players in the world will be in our field. And we have 2 of the reigning major champions, in Molinari and Brooks Koepka. So the field will be terrific. And the player field just doesn't happen. Throughout the year, Nathan and I are out with our partners at Wasserman, led by Andy Bilodeau. And between the 3 of us, we're out recruiting this field and developing friendships and partnerships and relationships with all these players. So we're also committed, as you've seen recently in a press release last week, to developing talent. And talent development is critical to us. It's the Webb Simpsons in 2008 on the range thanking us when he was an amateur, to him winning the U.S. Open in 2011. I think I have that right. That's how it works. It's really great stuff. And this year, we have the top 4 players in the recent World Amateur Golf Ranking. Top 4. I mean, this is probably our best amateur field ever. #1 was Victor Hovland. We saw him last night get an award at the U.S. Open. Justin Suh is #2. Cullen Morikawa is #3. And Matt Wolff is #4. So come on out and have a great week and watch these players. Our Memorial Garden that we celebrated a couple of years ago, and it's the J.S. Fishman Memorial Garden. We have players like Arnold Palmer, Sam Snead, Billy Casper. And the past year, unfortunately, we lost 2 more members of our family of champions, Gene Littler, who won in 1959, and Hubert Green, who won in 1981. And we've installed their plaques in the Memorial Garden So if you get a chance to go down by the practice facility and see it and see their plaques in their memory, it'd be great. It's really very impressive down there. The new clubhouse I've referenced to, and simply said, is the third leg of the stool. We've put a lot of effort into the practice facility. We put a lot of efforts into the course, along with the PGA Tour, and now the clubhouse. And it's going to be something, I believe, that will attract players, families, caddies, and everyone throughout the years to come. Finally, charity. Charity is such an important part of what we do. As Nathan always says, 100% of net proceeds, 100% of net proceeds go to charity every year. And over the years, we've developed a very special relationship with the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp, as Alan mentioned, and with Jimmy and Ryan and the whole team. I personally have experienced camp. I've been out to sessions when the campers are dancing and singing, and it's just, it's so moving. I've also been a part of the hospital outreach program, which is terrific in hospitals where patients who are too ill to be at camp are in the hospital. And it's very interesting that since 2007, when we took over as title sponsor, between the Travelers and the Travelers Championship, we've collectively donated over $7 million to camp. And I think that's just terrific, and is supporting a great cause that Jimmy Canton, their CEO, and I mentioned Ryan Thompson, their Chief Development and Communications Officer, but also Jen Weeks, who's their Special Events Director, Camp Director Alan Pender, their Director of Hospital Outreach, Michelle Gill McKenna, and their Director of Outreach Program, Sarah Smithson. All these folks are terrific, and we should give them a hand because what they do is special, special work. To tell us more about the life-changing benefits of the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp, it's my pleasure to introduce former camper Katie Joyner. Katie began attending the summer program in 2014, but first came to camp in 2013 for a family weekend. She's been a summer camper participating in the Hero's Journey program, is now a leader in training, and she's here to tell us her story. But what's really cool is that she's attending the University of Hartford. That's cool. And in a major that develops is working with prosthetics. And I think that's just so terrific, Katie. It's great. And it's great to have you here. Come on up and make a few comments.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Katie Joyner. 6 years ago, I had no idea that less than 30 minutes away from my home existed a magical place known as the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp in the woods of Ashford, Connecticut. Then, on January 14th, 2013, my life changed. I was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a rare form of bone cancer, in my right tibia. Over the following 11 months, I had 17 bi-weekly, inpatient, week-long chemotherapy treatments and 4 surgeries to remove the tumor. I vividly remember the first time that I met someone from the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp. It was the first week of my diagnosis, and I had just had a lung biopsy, bone marrow biopsy, and my Broviac catheter placement the previous day. I was laying in my hospital bed, not able to move due to the tube in my side from the lung biopsy, and in walked 2 smiling people wheeling a cart of crafts. They introduced themselves as members of the Hospital Outreach Program, or HOP team for short, and asked if I wanted to make a duct tape bag. I looked at them like they were crazy. I could barely move or breathe, never mind do crafts. They just smiled and told me that they would help me make it. They let me pick all the colors and patterns and showed me how to make the duct tape bag on my hospital table, and I never even had to move. I still have that duct tape bag today. My first trip to camp in Ashford was during a family weekend in September of 2013. I had a below-the-knee amputation in May to remove the tumor, and I still didn't have a prosthesis yet, so I had to attend camp in my wheelchair. Before getting to camp, I was worried that I would be left out of the fun because of my disability. However, that wasn't the case. When I got to camp, I was amazed at how welcoming everyone was to me and my family. I had 2 family pals that were so excited to show us absolutely everything that camp had to offer, and camp has a lot to offer. I was able to do anything that my family and I wanted to do. My brother and I built things in woodshop, recorded songs, went fishing, played basketball, did archery, dressed up for a Halloween party, and even got to go into the treehouse, which as a kid in a wheelchair, I thought was pretty amazing. During the weekend, one of our family pals would take over pushing me in the wheelchair, giving my parents a break that they didn't even know that they needed. There was one particular experience during that weekend which I will never forget. It was climbing the tower. Even though I only had a hard plastic AmpuShield that covered and protected my residual limb, the counselors at camp told me that I could climb the tower if I wanted to. After a lot of encouragement from my family and my family pals, I gave it a try. I made it about halfway up the tower wall before I couldn't make it any higher. After I came down from the tower, they were able to assist me up to the top of the wall so that I would be able to zip line for the first time in my life. For that weekend, I got to be a regular kid again, and that was not only an amazing experience for me, but for my whole family. The following summer, I got to go to camp for the first time. After settling into my cabin, I soon realized that this 1 week of the summer was going to change my life. My cabin quickly became my family, and camp became my home away from home. Throughout that week, I made close bonds with not only the other girls in my cabin, but also my amazing counselors. It was during this week that I made some of my close friends, discovered my love for taco salad, kissed my first fish, and so much more. I was grateful to be able to return to camp for 2 more summers, making some of the best memories of my life. If it were not for Hole in the Wall, I would never have been able to have an experience anywhere close to as magical as the experience that camp gave me that first summer. During the summer of 2017, I was lucky enough to attend the Hero's Journey program at camp. I was able to hike into the woods with 12 other campers, to live in yurts, make a fire to cook our own food, practice wilderness first aid, and create bonds with each other that will last a lifetime. It was during this week that I learned about my inner strength and what it was that I could truly do. I learned that despite what I may think about myself, I can achieve what was previously thought impossible. I never believed that I would be able to spend a week hiking through the woods, crossing rivers, and bonding with friends over a campfire that we made ourselves. If it were not for Hole in the Wall, I never would have discovered the part of myself that was ready to push past the boundaries that I thought were set for me. Last summer, I attended the Leader in Training 1 program for a week. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience to see the work that goes into making camp as magical a place as possible. I learned invaluable leadership skills that I use in my daily life to make a difference in the world. This summer, I will attend the Leader in Training 2 program, and I am looking forward to further improving my leadership skills and getting to be a part of the magical experience that camp has to offer for so many kids. It is my greatest hope to one day become a camp counselor and be able to give back to camp even a portion of what it has given to me. I know it may be hard to believe, but before my cancer diagnosis and my experiences at the Hole in the Wall gang camp, I was a very shy and socially awkward kid. I credit camp for bringing me out of my shell. If it weren't for camp and the counselors that pushed me to perform at stage night, which is completely judgment-free, I wouldn't have gained more confidence. It was watching the counselors and interacting with others at camp that made me more comfortable with social interactions. It was in the safe space of camp that I learned to voice my opinion despite what others may think. With Hero's Journey and the LIT programs, I learned how to be a good leader, working with others to collaborate and effectively lead without being a dominating force, as well as taking care of and respecting others, just like camp's values, safety, respect, and love. This fall, I will be attending the University of Hartford as a first-year student, and I am excited to use all of the skills that I have learned from the Hole in the Wall gang camp to spread the message and values of camp to everyone that I meet. I would like to thank all of you for being here today. Without you, camp would not be able to help kids like me. I hope you have a great day and continue to hustle kindness.
Katie, thank you. Thank you for letting us be a part of your journey. It makes us want to work harder with the event, and I am still socially awkward, so I need to go to camp, apparently, so, because you are not. We are going to have now the Travelers Chorale is going to sing a song here in a minute, and they're going to sing God Bless America. I want to say, though, this about Katie, about camp, and like Andy was talking about the $7 million that has gone there. That doesn't happen without, we are a PGA Tour golf event, but if we do that well, we can do so many other things to raise additional funds for charity. And if you're coming out this week, you know that. I mean, from the concerts to the mini golf to the baby showers to so many things that have nothing to do with golf, but they all are avenues for us to raise additional funds for charity that can support amazing stories and amazing causes like that. So thank you. So what we're going to do, though, she's actually going to partner with the governor here in a second and hit a first tee shot, but we're going to listen to God Bless America, and then we are all going to show them what it feels like to be a PGA Tour player, and I'm sure they won't disappoint. So, Travelers Chorale. Thank you. Okay, so Governor and Katie, you can make your way down. There are 2 balls teed up. We have your clubs right there. And I'm sure that you're nervous, but let me just say this. You cannot do as bad as I did. I came up here for an interview in 2005,